psychiatric clinic at the county hospital in Riverside, where both of them hoped he would be admitted as an inpatient. But even after John told the psychiatrist he might qualify as a 5150, someone who is in danger of hurting himself or others, the doctor said he didn't think such treatment was necessary. He simply gave John some more pills and sent him on his way. 5 days later, John went on a suicidal binge of methamphetamine and other illicit drugs, which landed him in the emergency room. All of this made for a complicatedly close relationship between John and his mother. Things had escalated recently after he'd started using methamphetamine and increasing his drinking. The crazier he acted, the crazier Kathy's own emotional roller coaster became. If she didn't watch over him, she feared he would go right back to the same druggy friends he partied with during his nearly fatal binge, a pattern she'd seen over the past 18 months. Or, worse yet, he'd be successful and actually kill himself. John had been living at his grandmother Linda Osborne's house in Riverside County since January, going back and forth to his mom's condo in Rancho Bernardo, a San Diego suburb, an hour south. But because Linda had also been admitted to the same hospital as John, Kathy decided on February 19 to take him home with her for a few days. Clearly, he was in no state of mind to be left to his own devices at his grandmother's, or in the care of his Aunt Cynthia, who had her own emotional problems. "It's time for you to get some more intense treatment," Kathy told him. John agreed, saying he'd been trying to get help, but not succeeding. "I need you to help me because I can't seem to get it done on my own," he said. He claimed that he'd already tried to find a mental health or drug addiction facility in San Diego or Riverside County that would take him, but he would try again. As soon as he was feeling better on February 20, she gave him a list of phone numbers, then listened from the kitchen while he made the calls. Kathy felt John's mental health issues should take precedence over his substance abuse, but he was convinced that he needed to go to drug rehab first. In the end, though, it didn't matter, because no place would take him. Either they had no room, or as soon as he told them he'd committed a felony and was a registered sex offender, they said they couldn't treat him. With every rejection, John's anger mounted. He cussed and paced around her living room with frustration, and it was all Kathy could do to try to soothe him so he could make the next call. "It's the same old thing," he groused. "I can't get any help." "We're going to keep trying," Kathy said. John made more calls the next couple of days with no luck, growing so discouraged that he finally gave up. She tried calling a few places herself, but they wouldn't talk to anyone but the adult who needed to be admitted. Meanwhile, John was complaining about the side effects of his new medications, Effexor, an antidepressant, and Lamictal, an anti-seizure medication for his mania. He said he felt mentally revved up and wasn't sleeping, which didn't surprise Kathy. He'd been pacing back and forth in her condo, flushed in the face, and taking her dog on walks around the lake for 5 hours at a time. Poor Hallie, a 10-year-old Beagle Shepherd mix, was so exhausted that Kathy and her husband finally told John to give the pooch a rest. Kathy decided not to push him too hard to make more calls because she'd already seen some improvement with the new meds. But on the evening of February 23, he showed her a rash on his stomach, chest, and arms. Given his persistent manic symptoms, she agreed he should stop taking the pills until she could follow up with the doctor. After his grandmother was hospitalized again, she and John drove the 2 hours north to Los Angeles County to see her. They didn't get back until after 1 in the morning on February 25, so Kathy never got to make that call. While she was still out looking for her son on the trails that evening, he finally called her back around 5:30. "I'm on my way home," he said. "I should be there in a little bit." John had spent 5 years in state prison after pleading guilty to committing forcible lewd acts and false imprisonment on a 13-year-old girl who lived next door. Although he initially denied any wrongdoing, he finally admitted to his family that he'd hit the girl, but he still insisted he'd never touched her sexually. Bolstered by a concurring recommendation from the psychiatrist.